Hey guys, it is that time, right? It's Thursday before school starts, and we are super excited to have y'all join us. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Justin Johnston, the head of schools at Anne Frank Inspire Academy. And so we're excited not only to be joined by our returning family here at Bandera, but also we are opening up our brand new school starting Monday over at Northwest Military. So if you are a Northwest Military family, thank you very much for joining us, and we're super pumped. I want to cover a couple of things today before we start our virtual open house here at the Bandera campus, which a link has been emailed to you. It's on our news feed on Treehouse. It's also on our Facebook page, so go there if you're looking to join in. And then if you're looking to join virtually, then you're going to, in person, that's going to be from 7 to 8 tonight. Northwest military families, y'all should be wrapping y'all's up right about now. We got about 30 more minutes over there, so if you haven't made it by there yet, our facilitators are going to be there till 6 o'clock tonight for you to be able to drop off your supplies and again, meet them and engage with them. So first thing everybody wants to know about a first day of school is, hey, can you tell me about drop-off, right? And so drop-offs will start at 7:30 in the morning. And if you are already enrolled in our before care, then you're fine. You can drop off at 7. If you haven't been able to enroll in our before care yet and you need the drop-off prior to 7:30, please contact Rosalind Payne at rpayne@brainnation.net, and that will get you in contact so we can make sure we're prepared for you. And if all else fails and you forget to do that, you haven't had time to do that, and you need to just drop them off, then do so, and then we'll get you on the list and we'll go from there. Okay, so if you need to drop off early, starting at 7 o'clock, you can do so. Here at 7:30, both schools will start dropping off, and so unless I distinguish between the two schools, I'm talking to both campuses, right? So both campuses, we're going to start at 7:30 in the morning. If you have an elementary child, that child is going to go immediately out to the playground and begin to make friends, begin to connect, and begin to connect with each other and form that sense of belonging. And so we're going to start that right off the bat, and then at 8, we'll roll into breakfast, and we'll make sure that every kid has an opportunity to eat breakfast. And so if your child's already eaten breakfast, again, don't worry. They'll just begin to continue to talk to friends, make new friends. But if they haven't had a chance to eat breakfast, we'll ensure everybody does that at 8 o'clock. Middle school and high school students, they will go into their plaza, into their common space, start mingling, start meeting people. And then at 8 o'clock, they will be divided into their areas, and we'll get the day started. The day is going to be fun. It's going to be packed full of connection, but we also think it's important for kids to understand their norms. We're going to get the technology passed out to students. And so the way that will work is we'll pass out that technology, and then we'll give your child a sheet of paper to bring home saying this is the technology that they are going to be assigned. Have you sign that acknowledging that if it's not returned, that you're responsible for paying for that. If it's broken, don't worry. We have insurance. We can get those things fixed. It's just if it's lost that you'll be responsible for that side of it. And so, again, you're going to drop them off. We're going to get them connecting. We're going to get them into the buildings. We're going to start that building the norms, get the technology taken care of, and then by the end of the day, it's going to be pickup time. So I want to talk a little bit about pickup. I know everybody's been waiting, and I got great news for you. Here at the Bandera campus, the parking lot is finished. It is open. It is usable. I've parked back there today, and so super excited about that. And that pickup spot is going to be for people that have kids in multiple buildings. So if you have a middle school and elementary student, or a middle school, high school student, high school, elementary student, we're going to ask that you pick up out back. And that allows for both students to be able to make their end time, and it also free up space in our middle school and our elementary. So if you only have elementary students, elementary is where you're going to pick up. Middle school is going to be where you pick up if you only have middle school. But if you have combined families, then it's going to be back in the parking lot. And don't worry, I'm going to send this out in an email as well, but I wanted to cover this information with you. If you have a question as we're going, put it over in the chat. I'm going to answer all the questions here in a minute. And so I want to go through the information, and then we'll start answering questions. So if you have a question right over on the side, fill it in the chat, and we'll take care of that. Now, here's what everybody is been I sent a message out last night. Everybody wants to know, what are we going to do about the mask? hey, Northside's doing this, Northeast is doing that, what are y'all gonna do? I wanna be clear, we haven't made a decision all throughout the pandemic whenever it deals with masks. We simply follow the authority and what our authority is. We believe that's important because as a school, we have a handbook and we ask families to follow our authority. And so we can't be in the habit of picking and choosing which authorities we follow. And so I understand everybody has their personal opinion and their personal preference, and here's the deal, we're gonna serve kids. And like I said last night, it doesn't matter how, we're just gonna serve kids. What we have in place is this. If you have an elementary child, expect them to be at recess 3 to 4 to 5 times on that first day. All right, we're not expecting for kids to stay in the building the entire day and be masked up the entire day, but we want to do so safely. So let's go outside, let's go have some fun. I don't think your kid's gonna mind going to another 10-minute recess throughout the day, right? So we're gonna get in, stay in, hour and a half, right? Get outside, get back in, stay, right? And we're gonna continue that process throughout the day because we wanna make sure we're taking care of all of our families, both those that believe in us wearing a mask on the inside and those that don't, as well as, most importantly, putting your kids in situations to where they're gonna be successful, all right? All of our communication this year is gonna be through your Treehouse portal. If you don't know how to log into that Treehouse portal, right, you go to annefrankia.com, or excuse me, .myschoolapp.com, and you'll be able to log in there with your email address. Again, I'm gonna send this out to y'all tomorrow through an email, and then I'll resend that same email probably Saturday, and I'll probably resend it on Sunday, but we just wanna make sure we're communicating this as much as we possibly can. Here's the neat thing about Treehouse is if you'll go up there to the top right-hand corner under settings, you can set it up for your notifications so that every time you receive a message inside of Treehouse, it'll send you either an email or a text message. And that will let you know that you need to go check those messages because there's been communication from the school with you and your family. That's a crucial thing because we have to limit where we communicate from simply because of the fact that there was too many gaps that were existing. And so Treehouse is meant for us to communicate through there. I had a parent tell me the other day, hey, y'all started off strong, then it kind of wavered just a little bit, and I get it. And the reason was because people were trying to communicate in other different forms, and we want to be clear, Treehouse is where we're going to communicate with. You're going to go on there, set your notifications to notify you every time we post a message. We're super excited to be able to offer more extracurriculars this year. We're going to be able to offer flag football for 4 through 6, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. Volleyball is going to be 6 through 8 and 9 through 12. Basketball will be both boys and girls, 4 through 6, 6 through 8, 9 through 12. And then soccer will be the exact same thing, both boys and girls, 4 through 6, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. So if you have a child, 4th grade or above, we have extracurricular activities that we're going to be going. And then like we talked about today with our new families, if you have something that you want to get going, simply get your child to get it going. Bring it to us. Show us that they're an interest. Show us that it's going to be something that is going to take off. And the beautiful thing about being a part of a small school is it doesn't take a lot of kids for things to make an impact or for things to make an influence. So don't think we've got to have 30 or 40 kids excited about it. Just show us it's something that's going to be consistent and carry on, and then we'll get behind it with you and engage in that process. The last thing I want to talk about before we open up to questions, Phil, do we have any questions yet?
A lot.
We got a lot of questions, so I gotta hurry up, all right? So is just a little bit of patience, right? So it's the first day of school Monday. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be going on, and here's the number one thing is it's gonna be the first time that a lot of students are back here in person. And so we recognize that. It's gonna take some time for them to get acclimated. So let's give it 2 or 3 weeks, let those norms set in, but give us a little bit of patience, a little bit of grace, but also at the same time, don't hesitate when you have an issue to reach out and let us know that, hey, we need to get this fixed or this is something that's going on, and we'll get to that as soon as we possibly can. So we got a lot of questions to answer, and so I'm gonna ask Phil to start reading those questions off, and I'll give you the best answers I can.
All right, we have a question. As a new student, are we to drop off school supplies before Monday?
So the question is that as a new student, are we to drop off supplies before Monday? Bringing them on Monday is fine. And so one of the things, and I'm glad you mentioned that, one of the things, let me go ahead and say this as well. Families, we're not going to have you come in the building, right? But as you pull up to the elementary, the 2-3 area is going to be the first area you come to. They'll come in those doors. 4-5 will go into the main doors at the elementary. And then at the K1 will go through the side. At our Northwest campus, you're going to enter right through that main door. Their kids are going to drop their stuff off, and then they're going to go outside and play. No problem if you haven't dropped your supplies off. You can do that on Monday morning.
How do they access the new parking lot from Bandera?
Yeah, great question. So to access the new parking lot off of Bandera, when you go to where you normally turn around and come back to the middle school, you will simply go straight. So right there by Perico's, you're going to go straight down that road. It'll bend back to the left, and the parking lot will be down there on your left around the corner.
And where will senior drivers park?
Senior drivers, so the question is, where will senior drivers park? So our high school parking lot will be the parking lot in front of the middle school. This allows for our receptionists to have eyes on that parking lot at all times, and it also should take care of enough of the parking for our students.
For technology, can they use their own technology, or is it recommended to use the schools?
Yeah, so the question is for technology, can we use our own technology, or should we always use the school technology? That's going to be a family preference. What I would tell you is whatever you're comfortable with to do. We'll have technology for all kids, but at the same time, I understand why some families prefer to use their own technology. The purposeful thing about the technology is that it's not a cell phone, right? They need to be able to type. So if it's a tablet, having a keyboard with it, or if it's a laptop, for it to be able to go. And so we know that everybody's going to have their own preference. You can definitely use your own, or you can use that of the schools.
For this evening, should each building go to their own building, or is there a certain place where they should go at 7?
So the question is, for tonight at 7, should you go to your own building, or is there going to be places to go? So what we're going to do, and I'm looking and you can't see it, but right over here we have the common area between the 3 buildings. And so at the elementary, all of the facilitators are going to be outside of their rooms, outside of the building. And then the high school are going to be on the front porch. And then the middle school is going to be on their back porch area facing the high school and the elementary. And so that's going to allow for all of the families to be on this one single sidewalk right here, but it's also going to give us enough space to spread out and be able to keep a safe environment for our facilitators and our families.
Can you explain a bit more about lunch? If I send lunch, will my son still receive lunch there or not that day? And will we know the menu before?
Yeah, so the menu should be pushed out. And so if it's not, I'll verify with that. But the question was, can I talk a little bit more about lunch and what happens if a kid brings their lunch? Will they still receive a lunch? And so this year, as you know, all students will eat for free. And so students will be provided lunch, right? They have the right to not take that lunch. But we encourage all students to take their lunch. Pick off up there what you like, right? It's already going to be there for you. Take what you like off of it. If you bring your lunch from home and all I want is the roll, or all I want is the nuggets or whatever it is, right? We're not going to make you eat it all, but take that lunch and then go ahead and eat your own lunch as well.
A question about arts, extracurricular, music, what's available?
So those things will be, the question was, the question was, what are going to be available for arts and for the extracurricular, the music, and things along those lines. And so Miss Rosen, Miss Harwood, and Coach Alvarez, they will go over that on the first day, explaining for the students. I know that we have a piano teacher. I know that we're going to have guitar. I know that we're going to have karate. I know that we're going to have dance. But they've been working hard on creating different things that they've heard students mention in the past. And so they're going to talk about that with the students on Monday, and the students will have an opportunity to choose after that.
Okay. Is AFIA still going to use the Facebook group? I've noticed that the group from last year has been archived.
Yeah, so the question is, are we still going to use the Facebook group? The Facebook group from last year has been archived. There is a new Facebook group. It is the 2021-2022 official AFIA parent group. We will use that group. We use that group to get information out quickly. We try 90% of the time to follow out whatever information we post on there to follow that up with an email so that everybody has the same information. I will tell you that it is a lot easier sometimes to just put the post than it is to go through and finagle an entire email. And so there are times that information goes out quickly there, and then it's more delayed coming out in an email. The other beautiful thing about the use of our Facebook group as a parent group is it allows for some real dialogue. Example being, and I haven't checked it today, so I hope it's still on the right track, but an example being last night, we have families that disagree. And it's okay that families disagree. It's okay that people see things differently. We want for there to be a real dialogue and a real sense of community inside of there, right? And I don't know about your family reunion, but my family reunions don't always go, they're not all roses. And so sometimes there's a little bit of conflict, a little bit of disagreement. That's not bad as long as we keep it in the group and we keep it on the positive side, knowing that all families want the best for all of our kids and all of our students.
Can you speak to COVID testing? They're asking if students will be getting tested weekly.
Yeah, okay. So the question is, will we be doing COVID tested weekly? The answer to that question is no. We will not be doing COVID test weekly. And the rationale behind that is there's a sense of there's a sense of normalcy that we feel like we owe our families and that we owe our students. And so if somebody is not showing symptoms, the idea of them being 70 years old and saying, hey, I remember when I got tested every week or every time I went to school I had to get tested, that's not the normalcy, that's not the story. So in this situation, we will not be testing on a weekly basis.
Okay. Will lunch be catered or cooked at school?
Yeah, so the question is, will lunch be catered or cooked? So at our Northwest Military Campus, lunch is catered from or outsourced and cooked here. Or cooked there on at the JCC, but it is catered and not our own personal staff. Here on the Bandera campus, it is our own personal staff that cooks that. They do an amazing job. And if you remember, we were acknowledging them today, right? Every one of the ladies that is here was here whenever we initially went into the pandemic, and they were standing outside and they were passing out the food on a daily basis. And so we're super excited that all 5 of those ladies are still with us, and they're doing a great job serving our families.
If we're bringing supplies on Monday, will we be allowed inside to simply assist in carrying them in to ensure that they get to the right rooms?
So the question is that if we're bringing supplies on Monday, will they be able to come in and drop off the supplies inside the room? We'll have somebody at the door that'll take the supplies, and we'll take that part of it from you. Again, we want to limit the number of families that are coming into the building for multiple different reasons. One of those is safety with health. And then I've got to be honest, guys, one of those is just safety with communication with others, right? And we have to be prepared. I know you're all great people, right? But we don't want to have for arguments to start inside of our school and us not be able to manage that piece of it. And I know you're like, nobody would do that. Watch the news over the next couple of weeks and see if that doesn't pop up somewhere, because I got to venture to bet it's going to. So we want to just, hey, we're going to take care of the kids. We're going to get the kids in, and then we're going to get right to the instruction.
Can you speak to the language extracurricular options?
The language extracurricular options?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question is, can I speak to the language extracurricular options? At the high school, the option is going to be either Spanish, Latin, or German. But we want to be clear that our language is taught through a computer program, right? And so Spanish is the one where we're going to be able to offer the most support. Latin with our English teachers, students should have learned Latin roots and suffixes and prefixes, and so our English teachers will be able to do that. And then we do have one fluent German facilitator here on campus at the high school that will be able to assist there.
We got lots of different questions over the pickup and drop off again. If you could go by elementary, middle, and high school.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, lots of different questions about the pickup and drop off. Don't try to remember this. I'm going to send this in an email, I promise you, and I'm going to get that out to y'all tomorrow, okay? But I will run back through it one more time just for those that need it, okay? Northwest Military, let's start with you. Your drop-off is going to be right there at the front of the AFIA campus, to the right of the JCC. And so we're going to drop off and we're going to pick up there. Bandera, Drop off is going to be wherever you want to drop your kids off, either at the middle school, the elementary, or the back. Completely up to you on that part. Pick up at Bandera, elementary only will be at the elementary. Middle school only will be at the middle school. If you have kids in multiple buildings, it's going to be in the back.
All right, and one more on the the senior parking.
Okay, one more time on the senior parking. All high school students that drive will park at the front of the middle school.
Okay. And then technology available to students, when are they going to get the device, and are they bringing them home or leaving at school?
Okay, so the question is dealing with technology. When are students going to get the device? When are they going to keep it at school, or are they going to bring it home? And so what will happen is the first day we will give the students the technology at the beginning of the day. We'll take it up at the end of the day. At the middle school, it's going to happen more around the middle of the day, but we'll take it up at the end of the day until we get the sheet of agreement saying that families are going to be responsible if the equipment is lost. Once that sheet of paper comes back to us, then that device will go home with the student for the remainder of the year. So our hope is that that happens day 2. Right, that the devices are going home and staying with you. But for that to happen, that means the sheet has to be returned back to us so that we understand that there's an agreement on both parties. If that device is never signed for, then that device will be remain on campus until that agreement is signed.
And the last question I see is about 3rd graders. Are they still having art, PE, and music? They didn't see it in their treehouse schedule.
Yeah. So the question is, are 3rd graders having art, PE, and music? It wasn't in their treehouse schedule. Complete transparency, I'm gonna be here tomorrow working on schedules, guys. Give me till Sunday. You can look at them Sunday evening. They should be pretty spot on by Sunday evening. High school students, we're gonna have your schedules in there. They're gonna be pretty spot on, but we also know that every school across America will be changing schedules at high schools on the first day of school. So we'll allow for some processes to be in place to take those. But yes, all elementary students will still be on a 3-day rotation of PE, art, and PE, art, and music on that 3-day rotation. So I'm going to venture to bet there was another question that came through while I was asking that. So Phil, what's our last question?
A
A couple more questions.
Can high schoolers stay at school after 3:30? And where is regular high school pickup? I think you addressed that. And where is after school pickup?
Okay, so got 3 questions coming at you. I'm going to try to remember all 3. I'm going to answer them this way. First question had to do with, can high school students stay at school past 3:30? If you're a high school or a middle school student and your parent can't get here to pick you up until 4:30, we don't require you to go to our after school program inside of that, because we're going to trust that you're going to do what you're supposed to do, right? And so families can pick them up a little bit later. That's a suggestion that I would make. To be honest with you, if you're a middle school family, a high school family, and you're not taking medicine and you got to go someplace, right? Pause a little bit. Come pick them up at 3:40. Let the normal 3:30 crowd get in and get out. Come pick them up at 3:40. I'm going to venture to bet it's about the exact same time you would be leaving the parking lot anyway if you get here and you sit and wait, right? So kind of delay that just a little bit. The next question dealt with where high school pickup is, and y'all are right in the fact that I didn't mention that from the standpoint of, I said elementary. If you have a high school only, you can pick them up in front of the middle school as well. So if you're high school, middle school only, pick them up in front of the middle school. And then the final question, I have no idea what it was.
No, you're good. It was after school pickup.
After school pickup. After school pickup, it takes place at the elementary.
If there are no spots left at the middle school, where do the high school kids park?
If there's no spots left at the middle school, then we will address that when that happens. Based off of our past experiences, right? We've only had somewhere around 10 to 15 students driving. We have 25 to 30 parking spots out there in the front of the school, so that shouldn't be an issue. But if it is, then we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll figure that issue out.
Okay, new last question. How do we enroll in after-school care?
You enroll in after-school care. So the question is, how do we enroll in after-school care? Email Rosalind Payne, rpayne@brainnation.net, and just let her know that you need for your child to be in after-school care. So guys, that's all the questions that we have right now. I know that's not all the questions that you have. If you need to reach out, feel free to. And we're super excited about Monday. We're super excited about students coming back. Do me a favor, talk positive in your house. Be excited about school starting. Be excited about the experiences that your kid's going to have, because it's going to go a long ways about them walking in and meeting the energy level that they're going to meet Monday from our facilitators. I can't tell you how proud I am of our facilitators, how hard they've been working for the last 2 weeks, how connected they are, how much they belong together, and how excited they are for your kids to come back. So we're going to see you Monday, Northwest Military. I'm going to be there 7:30. We're going to get that party started right off the bat, right? Kids go outside, getting them playing, getting them connecting with each other, and then we'll get them in the building and we'll get them learning. We'll also have another special guest with us there too, our superintendent, as well as our director of marketing. He will be there as well. So come out, be ready to go, be super excited. Can't wait for that to happen. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and it's going to be great. Bandera, be here 7:30. Be ready to go, and our facilitators are as well. So again, we're going to see you Monday, where your kids are going to belong, find joy, and be great.